Yes, it is now pretty much 2020. In just 3 hours Central Time, the 2010s will officially be over. And for the most part, I guess it's been a good decade. Some people would argue against that. There's been some bad things that happened, some good things that happened, and it all depends on you, I guess. But we are now about to enter the 2020s. Remember back when 2000 sounded futuristic? There were supposed to be flying cars, robots in every home, diseases were supposed to be gone, and none of that ever happened. Good times those were, but we never really even got to any of that. And now we're about to enter a brand new decade, and there's just so much that could happen that we don't even know what is going to happen. What will happen with the entertainment industry, what will happen with sports, what's going to happen with politics, all things like that. So I decided to go and put up a list of predictions that I think are going to happen in the next decade. It could be next year, it could be 2021, 2022, and onwards. This up until 2030. So, who knows, they could all be completely wrong, but some of them I think have a pretty good chance of actually happening. So, they're going to be in no order because I just don't want to have to go and put them in order. That's going to be really annoying, so I'm just going to go and list them off as I see them. Trump will win in a big landslide. So, a lot of people have already seen this coming, and the 2016 election was a big shock for most. Whether you love Trump or you hate him, it was pretty shocking to see the results. And it tore a lot of people apart, and it just got pretty bad from there. And because a lot of people do seem to like him for the most part, and there are some people who are warming up to them, I can see him going on and winning. And there are going to be people who are going to be never Trumpers and wouldn't vote for him even if he cured cancer, and that's their opinion. You shouldn't go and change it, but I think he is going to win in a landslide unless he gets one of probably the moderate Democrats, like I'm getting his name, the Asian guy. But if he gets a nomination by any chance, then he might have a pretty good chance of going against Trump. But in the end, I see Trump getting re-elected for the 4 next years, and then it's just going to be 4 years of seeing people trying to go and impeach him again. It'll be fun to watch. So, Trump winning next year. Woke culture dying. So, woke culture has been around for the last few years. First we had social justice warriors, which I think pretty much came around after right after the 2012 election. I'm pretty sure I first heard the term social justice warrior in 2013, 2014. So I think it was around the second time of Obama's election when they finally showed up, and well, they've always been there, but it's when they started to rise. And ever since then, woke culture has just gotten kind of a lot bigger, and people are sick of it. People who just don't give a crap about it are completely sick of it. They hate how it's getting in their movies and their shows, on their Facebook and everything else. They don't want to see it anymore, and they want to see it go away. And I see probably about by the middle of the decade, the culture will start to die out, and it would just go away. The people who are in it right now, either they will finally grow up and see that the things that they want to become true aren't, or they will still have the beliefs they still do, but they will pretty much just be small groups and hide in a corner because no one likes them anymore. So, woke culture, I don't see it lasting much longer. Please don't. And just let's hope it does leave really soon. Jimmy Carter dying. This, I think, is going to happen in the beginning of the next decade. I don't see him lasting much longer. He's, I think, in his mid-90s now, so I would be surprised if he lives beyond 100 or more. I'm sure he's in good shape, I'm guessing, but I just don't see him living beyond 2022. I see him going in the next few years. And with that, I also see Queen Elizabeth dying. Not quite in the beginning of the decade, but sometime during the decade. And I'm not sure if her brother will take over or not. He might consider himself too old for the part and just might pass it on, but I do see Queen Elizabeth going pretty soon. She's, what, about 90 right now? I think I'm not completely sure. I think 92, but yeah, I also see her going along with Carter in the next few years. The first Marvel movie will fail. Marvel movies have been big for the last decade. They are pretty much always going to eat big hits, with plenty of them often making over $1 billion. So Disney probably doesn't plan on ending them anytime soon. But with the first three phases gone, with Iron Man out, with Captain America out, with Thor for the most part out, the Hulk, all the originals, I just don't see it lasting much longer. I think probably within the next few years, we'll see the first Marvel movie that would be the first official flop. And then probably a few years after that, by the end of the 2020s, they could be ending the Marvel movies because they won't be making a huge profit anymore. I just really can't see the new people, except Spider-Man, maybe Black Panther and a couple more, really going and putting it in their own hands. So because of that, the Marvel movies, I mean, they've been around for over a decade now. They've had a good run, but everything has to end at some point, and these movies are included. But just with the original guys gone, I don't see it really lasting much longer because just, I mean, can you see it? I don't. We'll have the first restaurant that would be run by at least most robots. So a lot of fast food restaurants are now starting to get some robots in them, or at least prototypes. We've seen some robots where they will go and flip the burger or go and toss the fries and things like that. I'm guessing probably by the end of the decade, we'll probably have a restaurant that will be, for the most part, fully handled by robots. There will be a few humans in there, like, I'm guessing there will probably be a manager in there and a few other people who will be in there just to go and see if anything goes wrong, but we'll have almost a fully robot staff at a restaurant, whether it be a McDonald's or a Burger King. And so if you're a burger flipper or you cook fries or whatever, you're probably going to have to look for a new job in the next few years. So yeah, go and start looking for new jobs. A new Nintendo by the year 2025. The Switch is a big success. Everyone loves it. It's a great idea. It's a handheld, it's a console, and it's selling a lot of units, and Nintendo is probably just rolling in the money right now, unlike they did with the Wii U. Which is sad because the Wii U was a good console, but the third party, they just weren't interested. It had a terrible name. Nintendo didn't seem to know what to do with it. It had a just beyond terrible marketing, and casuals didn't even know it really existed. And the ones that did think it existed thought it was an add-on to the original Wii, so. But with that, the Wii is a big success, but how long will it last? Consoles usually last around 6 or 7 years, so will the Switch be able to go and live beyond that, or will they go and make a Switch 2 or some other console? I don't know, but if they were to go and make a new console, I can see them making a new one by 2025, and then we'll get probably a PS6 and a new Xbox by either the year after or 2027. I would say 2027 is more likely, but the Nintendo console will be the first one to come out, obviously, because the Switch is the oldest, but if Nintendo does think they can pull off the Wii, or the Switch longer, then maybe it can't last a little bit longer than that. We'll start to have more movie adaptations and reboots of late 90s shows and movies and early 2000 shows. So, over the last few years, we've gotten a lot of reboots and adaptations of shows and movies from the 80s and 90s. But I'm guessing as the decade goes on, it will start to switch more to the late 90s and even the early 2000s. Because right now we have things like Power Rangers that are coming out in theaters, but I think by probably in the next few years we'll probably be getting a live action adaptation of something like Danny Phantom. That might work, might not, but I do think they're probably going to switch to 2000 shows pretty soon because the people who grew up on those shows are now all grown up and they will probably go and pay money to go and see new editions of the shows they grew up with and see them on the big screen. We're doing that with all the ones we see right now, so I see the trend continuing. And probably by the 2030s it would be mid and late 2000 shows, which that would make us feel really old. More teams will go and break their droughts. Last year we saw teams like the Red Sox and the White Sox go and beat their curses. But this year we've had even more teams go and break their curses. The Cubs won in 2016, the Blues won this year, the Capitals won the year before, the Caviars won a couple years ago, the Raptors won this year. A lot of teams that haven't won in a long time are now starting to go and win a championship. So I'm guessing more and more teams are going to go and continue that trend. And I can also see the Seattle Mariners, who are now the only baseball team to have never won or even been to the World Series, probably getting to it. And they, of course, will be the last one unless the MLB expands. I don't see them doing it anytime soon, but I heard that they would probably do it in Montreal and Portland, but I don't really see it happening anytime soon. But I do see a lot of teams going and beating their droughts. But if we aren't going to see any, let's hope teams like the Yankees and pretty soon the Patriots don't win anything. They've won enough, especially the Patriots. The XFL will fail again. So back in 2000, the XFL reported and it was a big failure. It only lasted one season and people quickly forgot about it. Now they're trying to go and do it again with all these new teams, but I don't see it happening again. I don't really see it really being successful again. I'm not really sure if they're really changing or anything or not, but I mean, not even the NFL has as big ratings as they used to, so why do they think the XFL would be any better? I'm sure the first few games will probably get high ratings, but after that, it would just be downward on from there. A major retailer will go out of business. So this decade, we saw the fall of video rental stores, and now there's only one Blockbuster left in existence. And I think it's somewhere in Washington or Oregon, someplace like that, and just think, there used to be thousands of Blockbusters out there, pretty much one on every corner it seems like. It used to be like Starbucks. Now there's only one left. Hollywood Video's gone. I think Family Video is still around for the most part. And of course, there's still a bunch of family businesses, but all the major video rental stores are pretty much gone. So this decade, I do see it happening again. Probably with a company like Sears. They almost went, I think it was either this year or last year, and they got lucky and pulled out of it, but I don't see them lasting beyond the decade. And it's kind of sad. I think I used to get some of my clothes from Sears as a kid, and now they're going to be gone. So that's going to be another thing I'm going to tell my kids. I'm going to tell them I went to a store to go and get my videos, and I went to Sears to go and get my clothes, and now they don't even exist. The Simpsons will still be on. The Simpsons is never going to end. Even when all the voice actors are long gone, they're still going to go and find a way to go and make the show still running. And Today the show is just what you can call it. It's definitely not what it once was, and you can tell a lot of the people who do the voices on the show are kind of losing it. Marge is just, her voice is gone. I don't see how she could really last a few more years, but I still think the show is probably going to last a few more years at least. But hey, who says they won't want to go and last until their 40th anniversary? The continued dumbing down of schools. Every time I see some kind of video where some student is going out and do something and they're trying to go and fact check people, but then their facts end up being wrong, I can't just go and hold back my laughing, but yeah, it's going to continue to go and dumb down. This decade, we saw schools go and get rid of cursive because kids don't understand it and they can't write it, and that trend is probably going to go and continue, and they're going to go and continue more and more things. Something else they also did was, I think they made a U.S. history not a requirement anymore in colleges. They're probably going to do that more and more as time goes on. And then you'll have people who just won't know the most basic facts, and it will just get worse from there. Tom Brady will retire in 2020 at the age of 50, and he'll probably win at least 3 more Super Bowls. It's Tom Brady. God loves him for some reason, so he has to win every freaking year. So why not? He'll be playing until he's 50 freaking years old, when somehow he still doesn't have a gray hair on his head. He still pretty much just going for the field and tearing people apart, and the Patriots will be going and winning every Super Bowl, no matter what, with the refs going and saying, fumble to the other team, Patriots, automatic 14 points, even though they didn't go and make a touchdown. So yeah, Tom Brady, he'll probably win a few more Super Bowls at least, and he'll be playing until he's 50 years old. No flying cars. We didn't have flying cars in 2000, we didn't have flying cars in 2010, and we won't have flying cars in 2020. There will be over 1,000 Pokemon by the end of the decade. Right now, I believe we're at 890, so in the next 10 years, we'll probably have 2, maybe 3 more generations if they decide to go and keep it going, and if that happens, we'll probably have over 1,000 Pokemon at that point. Not including the Mega Evolutions, which I really don't count, but it's kind of hard to believe that just 20 years ago, there were only 151, and now there's almost 1,000, and I can name, I think, all the Kanto Pokemon, probably all the Johto Pokemon, a good portion, I think, of Hoenn, but after that, I could only name a few Pokemon in each generation, and if I were to go and look at a picture, I would just be spitballing and getting everyone wrong. You know those videos where people go and get their mom or dad or whomever to go and name these characters off of Super Smash Bros. And then they get everyone wrong? That's me with all the new Pokemon. There's just so many, I can't keep up with them, and unless you're just the biggest Pokemon fan in the world, I don't see how you can. It's impossible, but yeah, there will be over 1,000 Pokemon by the end of the decade. China becomes the most powerful military. Did I really write that? China? I mean, America. How is that? Yeah, China is starting to become more and more powerful, and I can see them possibly becoming the most powerful military by the end of the decade. They keep building to it, and we're probably going to have to go and watch out for them, but hopefully our relations with them will stay fairly good. We'll find possible small life on other planets. And I don't mean like green alien men or anything like that, but forms of bacteria and things like that. I can see us finding something like that on some close planet nearby. And will we ever go and see the big bug aliens or anything like that? Maybe, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. If we're going to find anything, it would just probably be something really, really small, but even then, it would be big because it shows that there are forms like on Earth, like on Earth, that can exist outside of it. Faster air travel. This one was pretty much just a basic. Air travel keeps getting faster and faster and faster, and it's probably going to keep getting faster. You get on a plane from New York to LA and just be like you weren't even on the plane at all. And it used to take hours just to go and get from a place to another, even on a plane. And 100 years ago, where it took about a month or so to go and get from New York to LA, it shows where we gotten over the last century. It's really quite incredible. But I do see air travel becoming faster, definitely happening. Cable TV will be almost dead. So more and more people have been cutting the cord over the last decade because more and more people are starting to go to streaming services. Whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, etc., etc., people are starting to go and switch to those instead. And cable TV, it used to be the big thing that everyone was switching to 30 years ago, and it's probably not going to be around too much longer. I see it outlasting the 2020s, but probably by the end of the decade, a lot of people, at least younger people, probably won't have it. Most of them will just be sticking to their 50 or whatever streaming services. The college bubble will burst. This has been supposed to be happening for a long time. Just all the freaking student deaths, they're piling up more and more and more and more, and eventually the college bubble will just burst. And we'll probably see a lot of colleges just go out of the way. Yale, Harvard, they'll probably still be around, but a lot of the smaller colleges, they probably definitely won't last. I'm guessing probably the one I graduated from, if it happens within the next few years, it will be gone. And a lot of my friends' colleges, they'll be gone as well. So yeah, I just don't really see it last much longer, and with all the scandals about getting kids in there from celebrities, it's bound to happen pretty soon. SpongeBob will end. Say it ain't so! SpongeBob ending? Nickelodeon getting rid of their golden boy? Yeah, I think it's probably not going to last beyond the 2020s. Maybe it will last to 2029, but I don't think it will be going beyond there. That would be 30 friggin' years for a children's show. For a children's cartoon. I mean, Sesame Street, yeah, they pulled it off, but I'm not sure if anything else can really do it. Arthur's doing it though, but SpongeBob? And a lot of people have just been saying that the show's gone down here for years, and a lot of people have been saying that actually that it came back when Hindenburg came back, but now that he's dead, it could go downhill once again, and with him gone forever, it's probably never going to have the same feeling. So at one point they're probably going to go and end it, and when they do, I do hope they end it on a high note. YouTube will focus more on the already famous and rich celebrities. Remember when YouTube was about you? When you were the person who went and uploaded videos, when you got to go and make your own videos and do whatever you want, as long as it wasn't against their rules about being naked or anything like that. But since then, YouTube has switched just to going and focus on celebrities. And it's just incredible because these people are already famous and making a lot of money on their shows and movies or whatever they do, and then all the YouTubers who worked really hard to go and get their success, who knows what they're going to do. They might have to go to a different platform, or they just might have to go and get a job outside of YouTube. It just makes me wonder what people like James Rolfe or Doug Walker or PewDiePie, what they're going to do in the next 10 years, and especially with COPPA becoming a thing where more and more videos are getting restricted and you're just not allowed to do as much as you used to. It's getting worse and worse, and the you in YouTube is just long gone, and people have always been saying that YouTube is getting worse whenever there's some kind of change to the site, like when they change the design of the home page or someone their own page. And people are always going to say that they're going to go and leave YouTube and go to a new site, and then they end up coming back. I remember back in, I think, 2011 it was, when some site really similar to YouTube came around and people were saying, that's going to be the new YouTube, we're going over there, and then nothing happened. It's so forgotten about that I can't even remember the name of it. So, obviously nothing ever came of it, but people are saying this time it's going to be real. With Kappa and YouTube focusing on the celebrities this time, they just don't think it's going to last and they're going to go somewhere else. And this time, I think I kind of agree with them. Schools will phase out textbooks for tablets. We're already starting to see this a little bit. Some schools are starting to go and get rid of all the paper textbooks and getting tablets instead, because the students work for them better. They find working with a paper textbook, having to go and flip pages, a lot harder, but when they can go and just go on a tablet instead, it seems they can do a lot better. So I'm guessing schools are probably going to go and do this more and more and more, so the students can go and get better grades and get the hell out of there and make their lives. I see more schools switching to the tablets instead. And there's probably some good and some bad out of that, because you need to look at a paper book at one point, and when these kids do, they're not going to be trained for it. So when they're in some kind of meeting in years from after they graduate, they'll just be looking at a book and going like, well, I don't understand any of this, but maybe by then everything will be pretty much replaced by tablets, so who knows. The Cardinals will win at least one more World Series, and the Blues will win another Stanley Cup, because this video is pretty biased and those are some of my favorite teams, so I want to see them win, and not your teams, because my teams are better. Your teams suck. My teams are better than yours. And your teams just can go and never win again, unless I do have some sort of good attraction to your team. I do like the Indians and teams like that, so, but I hope my teams win a lot more than yours. The vast majority of World War II veterans will die. Not all of them. We will still have plenty in the 2030s, but a lot of them will die off. These guys are just, they're getting older and older and older, and they can't last much longer. The youngest ones are probably, I think, in their 80s now, so they're starting to drop like flies, and probably by the end of the 2020s, the vast majority of them will probably gone, except for all the youngest ones who will be in their hundreds then, and they will probably last a few more years. I believe the oldest World War I veteran, I think, was 110 years old. I think I might be wrong on that, but he died about 5 years ago, so we'll probably see some World War II veterans lasting into the late 2030s, but by the end of the 2020s, most of them will be gone, and the ones we see will just be a big rarity. So, if you have any questions about World War II and you want to see a person who was directly in it, now is the time, because you don't have much longer left. Landlines will still be in use. I've always seen people say that landlines are going to be gone soon, and I just don't see that happening. I can see them lasting another 20 or maybe, unlikely, but maybe 30 years. Most likely 20. And it's just, there is still a lot of people who are dependent on them, and there's probably some good reasons to go and actually have a landline. Sometimes your battery on your cell phone might be bad, or maybe you can't find your cell phone and you really need to go and call someone. There are some good reasons you probably do need a landline at times, and I don't really see a reason to go and get rid of them, because it's just, cell phones just aren't, I guess, at the technology yet, but landlines, I do see them still lasting a few more years. Taco Bell would not be the only fast food restaurant left. No, there will be no fast food wars or anything like that. No, there will still be a McDonald's, there will still be Burger King and Wendy's. Taco Bell would not be the only last one left, so Demolition Man was wrong on that one. Dunkaroos will come back. Over the last few years, we've seen some foods come back, like Surge, Planters cheese balls, the High-C Ecto Cooler, and for some reason, Dunkaroos have never come back, even though there's a lot of people that do want them. They're in Canada, freaking Canada. What? How is Canada so much better than us that they get them and we don't? But I can see them maybe coming sometime in this decade with the high demand in them. Look, Betty Crocker, we want them. It's some really, really good crack. I don't know what kind of crack it is, but it's really good crack. We want it, so bring it back. There's going to be at least one end of the world thing. So there will be people going around screaming, end of the world, end of the world, the world's going to end this year. This year, or this decade, we saw it twice with 2012, which people were going about for years, and 2011 with that really weird religious guy. And nothing happened on both of them. And then the decade before that, we had Y2K, and I don't remember Y2K, actually. I think my older brother told me that there was going to be a big earthquake that was going to split the country in half, and I actually believed it. I was 8 years old, okay? You believe everything then. But yeah, nothing happened on Y2K, nothing happened with 2011, nothing happened with 2012, and there's probably going to be another one this decade where people will be saying the world's going to end this year, and then it will get lots of media attention and nothing will happen. There might be a big movie on it, and it will going to make millions and millions of dollars, but nothing will happen. Which reminds me, I'm surprised there was never a big Y2K movie. You think with the way Hollywood likes to go and make these movies, they would have made a Y2K movie, but they never did. And it's too late now. So yeah, those are my predictions for the 2020s. I think they're pretty good. I think a lot of them have a good chance of happening, but others, yeah, they might not happen, but we have a whole decade to go and see what happens, and probably by the time the decade ends, I'll probably forget I ever made this video, so I'm never going to make a follow-up, so don't expect that. So yeah, have a good 2020, have a good 2020s. How was your 2010s? Were they good? Were they bad? And are you looking forward to the 2020s? What do you think? And what are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? Let's just go and see. So, thanks for watching.